Hey everybody, you're watching Call the Corn Star. If you're even slightly interested in farming or just want to watch a 26-year-old farmer get some stuff done, you're in the right place. Over the last couple of weeks, my brother Cooper and our friend Zach have been pulling miles and miles of fence. I think they have about 10 miles of fence down on the ground right now. The fertilizer spreaders are breathing down our necks. We're on the bulldozer guys wanting to get in the field and work underneath where those fences are. We still have the wire sitting on the ground. So today we're going to run out. We're going to pick up 10 miles of wire that's sitting on the ground, go put it in a big pile. And that way the spreaders can come in, the bulldozer can come in, and we can sleep a whole lot better at night because we don't have to worry about picking up all the wire. Cooper and Zach are actually going to get started first. I just got a call from Nate. He's having some issues with the fertility prescriptions that I sent him. So I'm going to go in the office, try to do some computer stuff and look like an absolute super genius. Zach, Cooper, and Roman are going to get started.
Tuesday morning here, nice and cold on this nice Iowa morning. We're going to start, tore a bunch of fence out a while back last week, so we're going to go ahead and get it out of the fields. As you can see along the roads, or on the fence line here, we got a bunch to pick up. So we got Zach's dump trailer and our dump truck and his skiddy and our skiddy. We'll just start loading stuff up and then go dump it up at Chris and Rusty's there and make a pile, burn everything because all the posts are in it. The junkyard won't take that. So we're going to load everything up, burn it, then we'll haul everything to town.
Okay, I think I got all the fertility stuff taken care of with Nate. We're trying to build a 40-acre super high fertility environment over on the corner over by Luke and Ashley's house. And we just had a few different problems with the rates we were trying to do and getting them to match up with the spreader. But I think we got everything figured out. So let's go out into the field now, help Roman, Cooper, Zach, and Dad. We got Zach and Cooper running double trouble in the skid loaders. Each got a skid loader trailer and a skid loader. So this was one of the longer fences that Zach and Cooper pulled. It goes from this gravel road right where we're sitting all the way the next mile over. So we had a whole mile of fence now that is completely gone right here. And this is a good one to get out because it was one fence that fell over and then they built another fence and then that one started to fall over. So double fence gone. There used to be an old fence line right here. We pulled it out a couple years ago, but we did have a pile of trees down there that we burned. We're going to be getting that picked up today as well. We've been farming around it for a couple years. The skid loader makes heavy things look so light. That's probably like a 100-pound rock. Here's the big burn pile, or not so big anymore. Oh no, Johnny, we stuck. Bumpy. Woo, Cooper's got a whole tree right there. Look at that.
So is this the campground?
Yes, this is the farm we call campground. It's called campground because Cooper and Presley actually built a campground over there with their homemade camper. And it has a deck and everything. I don't care how good you look for barbed wire. You can spend all day out here looking in one spot. You'll come back a year later, you'll find it with a piece of equipment. It happens every time. Do you want a taco bowl for lunch?
I'm not picky.
Okay. With or without Doritos?
I'm not picky. The only thing that I'll have to force myself to eat is celery.
Really?
It's like, and like,
this fence line is going to look completely different when Ron gets it done. Just look how much better that already looks. The right side that's all snowy, that's the neighbor's field. And then the dirty part is ours.
because it's so cold and everything is frozen and thick like hydraulic oil, battery doesn't like cold, I have to use this jump pack in order to dump it. So it's a little bit of a hassle. Black to black, red to red. Turn it on. We were good to go.
Welcome to the Bush Farm.
Welcome to the U.S. Cellular voicemail. 6.
Nope, he'll call me back. No one ever wants to answer my phone calls. Right now, Ron is on Bill's farm and he's touching neighbor Doug's and he's pulling out the hump that's between the two farms. We got rid of the fence, and now there's a big hump. Ron's simply smoothing that off. While Ron is on Bill's, we're gonna see if he wants to go to the south side, the campground side, and also smooth out that hump. So I need to call neighbor Logan to get his approval if he's okay with it. Ah, there we go. Had a girl best. Sometimes the piles stay together pretty good, and sometimes they fragment apart in a bunch of little pieces. And then we have those cleanup areas to pick up. Oh man, Zach's not messing around. He's way up there. Cooper's kind of picking up things with the claw, nice and precision. Zach picks up the big stuff. And Zach, right now what he's doing is, he's just running along and he's scouting out for stuff, feeling it with the tracks. Since the tracks pivot, if you hit a fence post, the skid loader will buck up and then go back down. And so it's kind of useful, especially when we have the snow on the ground like right now. I don't know what year this truck is, but back then they made wood good because that wood doesn't break. Just look how much bow we have. I found a picture of this truck from like 15 years ago when we bought it. The sides were perfectly straight. The truck looked immaculate. This is what happens when you haul a bunch of scrap metal. It's rough on wood. If you don't pick the stuff up, you will find it with every piece of equipment. We're still gonna find stuff. I don't care how good you pick it up, you always miss stuff. We'll find it with a piece of equipment, don't worry, it'll happen. We are starting to get a lot of piles of wire. Look at all those. I don't know how long that towel main's been sitting there. It's been there as long as I can remember. Right here is an excellent example of what Ron the Bulldozer guy's doing. We have our field, then we have where the fence used to be, and so there's a big hump of dirt here, then we have the neighbor's field. So Ron's simply coming in with the bulldozer and getting rid of this hump, so that way it goes from our field just smooth right across to the neighbors. This is basically just a wall of soil, and if you hit it with a corn head, it'll rip your snoot off. So we're trying not to rip any more snoots off. So if we can get rid of these, it makes it a whole lot nicer. And when it's all said and done, we'll have an area about just a little wider than Cooper's Ranger. So that way we can get in there, we can maintain the boundaries of the field, and we can also have access deep into the field if we need to do a little bit of spot spraying along the edges. That way we can lower our weed seed bank, and then we're not worried about weeds creeping in from the edge of the field, making more seeds and working their way all the way across the field. For whatever reason, we had a telephone pole sitting in the field. Nothing's hanging over the front of the cab. Holy cow, I didn't realize I was that long going down the road. The Bush Farm up there on the hill, the field around Dad's house are all done. Now we just have Mount Everest left and Hanson Farm. See both the skid loaders about ready to duel it out on top of Mount Everest? Look at them way up there. This hill's so steep, it's hard to get up with the truck. Beep, beep, we're ready. That's a big one right there. We're gonna have troubles getting it to fit in the truck. We might be able to do it. We're gonna try. We are going to have a very full dump truck. There goes Roman. Let's do a quick pile inventory to see how many dump trucks we've taken over here. 29 loads over here, and Roman's coming back with number 30. Wow, that did not seem like that much when we were pulling it out. 30 dump truck loads worth of wire, fence posts, little trees and rocks we found on the edges of our fields. And that's about half of our fields, so we got another half to go. 30 more. track will pop off the skid loader. Zach popped one off last week. Was it this side? Popped the other one off. So it's natural that this one popped off. Usually you got to get a jack up here, lift it up. There's a big grease cylinder on the inside. You let all the grease out, then you can get tension off the track, pop it back on, you fill it back up with grease, and then it's tight again. It always comes off in the worst spot too, so it's been worse. I think this is the second time we've popped the track off on this particular farm. Oh, look what Cooper's doing here. This is what the cavemen used to use as jacks. They just find an old piece of petrified wood, they'd wedge it under their skid loader, and then they'll back it up, and it'll lift itself up onto the petrified wood, which will serve as a natural jack. This is a hidden track, so we should not be able to see any of these center guides. Basically, they should be on the inside of these wheels. I want to be careful not to get under this, because if these hydraulics give out, I'll get smushed. But what we're going to try to do, this front sprocket, it needs to be, this center part is supposed to be around that sprocket. So we're off by about 4 inches right now. We're going to try to pop everything off. There's a grease cylinder inside. We need to take the grease out of it. That'll take the tension off the track. Then we'll have it nice and loose. We're either going to have to use a pry bar. We've done that in the past. Sometimes if you can get the front on, then you can drive forward and it'll pull itself on, kind of like a bicycle chain. It varies depending on where it pops off. This is popped off on the front and the back, so that's not very ideal. Our sun's gonna be disappearing in about 15 minutes, which is not good for the dump truck. I'm not gonna be able to bring this home tonight. I don't have any headlights right now. They're not working for whatever reason. You always forget about it until you go to use it. Tube of grease. Well, geez, I guess if we ever need an extra grease gun, we only have 4 of them still in the box. Dad does not like electric grease guns. He likes the manual ones. We have 2 electric ones. He'll opt for the manual one every time. Purple block.
You want to test your grip strength?
Are you kidding me?
I got wore out. I had to do it 2 times before I was able to grab it.
All right, let me try it.
There we go. Service came up.
Yeah, I don't know why that tracks fall off.
If Zach can't fix the track, nobody can. Zach worked on a geopier crew for 7 years, so the big pylons that go into the ground that they build buildings on top of, or bridges, Zach installed those. And he ran a skid loader all the time there, and they would have issues with tracks just because they ran them so much, they would have to replace them on the job. So that's why I say, if Zach can't fix a track, nobody can. We got ourselves a convoy. Cooper's in the front. He's got to go to a seed meeting here in a little bit, order the last of his soybeans and the last of his corn. And then Zach, we got to bring him back to his pickup. Oh, hear that turbo spool up? So there we have it. We have plenty of room for Ron. He's right on us. We got everything to the spreaders. The spreaders are going to be coming out. We have the fields ready for them. And we're going to sleep a whole lot better at night now because we have it done. That's all we got for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.